Office life sucks balls. I'm not talking your balls after pulling up for the 6th time today. I'm talking your balls after edging for 2 hours in class, looking like the cum truck. But on a serious note, you do not belong in an office.
Most of the work is meaningless. Your bosses view you as just a number in an Excel spreadsheet. The same Excel spreadsheet you've just spent 4 hours typing up that no one's ever going to read. Let's face it, offices are not a natural environment to be in, and the huge amount of evidence showing the physical and mental drawbacks of working in an office prove this.
It's not all doom and gloom. We've got the based Luke's Maxine Giga Chad air conditioner on our side, keeping these bitches in check.
Turns out it's the air conditioning that's sexist. I know.
Now the first point we want to discuss is how meaningless this office style work is.
Now when it comes to office work, the vast majority of time you sat down, you're filling out spreadsheets, you're filing out reports for Karen, the boss lady. Let's compare that office style work, compare that with, let's say, an electrician, a plumber, who at the end of the day, they can pull water down a drain and it not leak and have a sense of completionism and achievement. Your office style work, do you really go home thinking, I've achieved something today? I think it's just busybody nonsense for the sake of it.
This is perfectly proven in the Elon Musk thing that happened last year when he took over Twitter. I know that 80%, the bulk of my work, is done by 20% of the people there, so I'm going to get rid of 80% of my staff. He got rid of 80% of the staff at Twitter, nothing changed. So 4 in 5 of the people who were working at Twitter before that was in a non-job. You can have some sort of sense of achievement and purpose in your job, because there is jobs there that need doing, but the vast majority of it is, like you say, it's just busybody work. You're chasing up emails.
You hark back to the industrial age and you had families called Smith because they were the Smith and they were the village Smith. They made a product and they saw their product being distributed throughout the village.
Yeah.
That to me is a real sense of achievement, and I'm not saying you need to go get physical work out there, but I'm saying that there's much more of a semblance to achievement.
Say like there's some libtard in the who's watching this now, they'll be fuming at that, like,
comment below giving us a load of
they'll be there, well, we don't live in that age no more, blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I get that, we don't live in the era of doing artisan work. That era's gone. Even in this industrial age that we're living in, post-industrial age, you can still make a component for a bridge. Or you're a plumber. It's just basic work. You're keeping toilets fixed. You might work on hospitals. You might work on schools. You know that you're doing something that is going to be used by the general population.
When you've got a working man sense of achievement, which I don't understand this 9-5 slander online, it's a video we plan on making in the future. A service has been completed, you have fulfilled your societal role, so...
There's one thing slagging off offices, there's another thing saying that you don't want work because you won't be a millionaire YouTuber. This is basically going to be a 2-part video, so that'll...
Sub?
4-hour work week covers it, where he says how much of his work was just busy work.
Yeah, man.
He realised that he could cut most of the junk out of his day and nothing actually changed. He could leave his business running on autopilot because the majority of the things he was doing didn't actually contribute. And you've got to think, as a human, you're goal orientated. When your goal is to just constantly be replying to emails, no wonder people feel the way they do.
Yeah, no wonder there's like this big movement of you need to quit your desk job, you need to go travel the world. I understand why you want to go and do that when your work is in the rat race cubicle. You're looking forward to your 5-minute turd break. Imagine getting in from your office job. You say to your lady, tough day at the office. What do you mean? All you done is sit down.
And I'll assume our demographic for these videos, I'm guessing a lot of the people watching this aren't 25, 30-year-old women who work in office jobs. I'm sure this is young men who are a bit lost.
But if you all hit us up in the comments.
There's no two ways about it. There's a feminine atmosphere.
It gets a bit toxic and it ties into meaningless perfectly, yeah. How on earth, yeah, are you going to get venomous and start bitching about Von Michael because he hasn't filled out the spreadsheet today or he missed a report? All company politics grass him into the gaffer. Big CEO comes over, he wants a parlay with Von Michael.
No, the CEO manager doesn't come in. HR comes in. HR's dealing with it.
HR's the interim.
Yeah.
Get it? Your HR gaffer comes in and he starts saying, Von Michael, we've had reports that you haven't been filing your reports.
Go on Google and type in the drawback of office work, and they're all written by 45-year-old BuzzFeed workers who've previously worked in an office and still do work in an office, and all the drawbacks say office politics.
Yeah, man.
Toxic work environment. And what do you think when it means toxic work environment? It means the things we're talking about. So this isn't us coming out and being misogynist incels. What we're saying is true because the people themselves are coming out and saying this is what happens.
Would you prefer be a builder erecting houses?
Erecting.
Where at the end of the day, you've made real progress to putting someone in a home? Or do you go home to your Japanese peace lily, your 3 cats, you go and have a microwave meal after a heavy day checking your emails. Before we get into this next section, if you haven't met us before, this is your first time on the channel, I'm Jaquan, and you can tell that from my glasses and my do-rag. Strap up before we get into this next section. Strap up, we're going on a ride.
These aren't actually do-rags, these are just crusty old t-shirts that we used to use as cum rags.
My mum's top, she left it around mine.
The second point we'd like to cover is office lifestyle. It just promotes a sedentary lifestyle. You only have to look at, there's loads of articles been out the last couple of years showing you what the average person looks like, man and woman. They're all hunched over, they've got a pot belly. Why? They're not doing any exercise.
Now our target market is clearly based gigachads. That's who we're aiming at. Now, if you've lifted, if you've been to the gym, you've got to think of the endorphins you get, the mental and physical well-being improvement that you get from that. If you do a physical job all day, you are going to be promoting that sort of lifestyle. Now, compare that to being sat down at a desk, your eyes turn into squares because you've been looking at a computer screen all day. What does that promote? It promotes the sedentary life. It promotes being sat still.
You're not physically worn out, but you're mentally worn out.
Don't want to work
and
out.
I know we've dunked on it saying, oh yeah, what an odd day's graft you've done, and you've not really. But imagine the mental stress of just sitting there all day and doing a non-job and having a boss on you. Why didn't you respond to that email straight away? Because nobody's going to read it. No wonder people just won't get in. And listen, I'm not making excuses for these people, but no wonder people won't get in and just have a takeaway and watch Netflix. Your life is just...
Well, you work a physical job like I do, and you know that those days where you sat around twiddling your thumbs doing nothing is soul destroying compared to being balls to the wall action. You've got to think of actual proven scientific studied stuff.
I love science. Do you remember the COVID vaccine?
I
fucking love
that was
that.
gangster. I'm gigavaxed. Yeah. I'm gigavaxed. You've got stuff like musculoskeletal, and by the way, I don't know how to say it. And if you want to correct me in the comments, we can meet up, local car park. We can have fisticuffs. I'll bring Sam, he can fight you as well. I'll bring my old man.
We are both 6'4", 240 pounds.
I'm 6'4" and 21 stone.
I will happily fight you 3-on-1. That's all I'm saying.
Are we the 3?
No, me, you, my old man. You've got your neck pain. You've got your repetitive strain injuries. You've got the little soy arms that you get when you've been typing all day.
Carpal
tunnel. Yeah, you get your little soy arms.
I think that pretty much covers the sedentary. We've basically just had a bit of a laugh and a joke about that one. I think most people know the issues with that, and if they are things that concern you, just look at the things we've spoke about or just do a bit of your own research. You can see the issues that come along with this. There is a mountain of physical drawbacks. You've got to look at office work and you've got to look at the trade-off. Obviously, we've talked about the meaningless and the sedentary nature of office lifestyle, but if you can secure the bag, if you're one of these guys who's actually in a job worth doing, you're on a large enough salary that you can provide for your family, your mental well-being's good enough that your job isn't actually overall impacting you as much as it could do, then by all means go for it. But if you're one of these guys you're an Excel spreadsheet guy, or you work in a call centre and your job is you try and sell people a new deal on internet, no wonder you feel the way that you do doing these jobs. So you've got to ask yourself, is it worth it? Should I go and try and find a more physical job? Should I go find a job in a different area? Because if you aren't somebody who can get one of these top jobs in one of these corporations, chances are it's going to massively diminish your quality of life.
And I know we as a society, we have progressed into a digital age. I get it. We're not hunting mammoths anymore, and the age we are going toward is globalization. The corporation has well and truly come into its own. Your work options are limited these days, but if you have a brain, if you have panache, a bit of tenacity, you'll realise that they're not. It's just that you might have found yourself in the wrong industry, or you've found yourself in a toxic environment that you don't want being anymore. Office work, being sat down all day, being a big fat slob, is that what I want? And is that working me towards my goals, my end goals? I doubt it very much.